Ooh, what's up, everybody? My name is OMG WTF LOLFTW BRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We are playing as the WWE. I almost said F. We're no longer WWF. We got the F out of there. But we're playing as the WWE in the year 2002, and we are now booking the brand era because the invasion is over. WWE technically won, but Linda McMahon said that's not happening. Competition is what's best for business, and Nitro will stick around as the second brand in the new organization known as the WWE. And we had the whole brand episode on Nitro, so now we are finally here with everybody's favorite show. Who cares about Raw? Who cares about Nitro? Who even cared about WrestleMania? Because we all knew everyone was waiting for the Sunday Night Heat Super Show. And we all know you guys have been waiting for Sunday Night Heat. In fact, I know y'all been waiting for Sunday Night Heat so bad because I was on my boy Brendan Plays. We don't know each other, so I don't want anyone walking away thinking that we know each other and start bothering him. But I was sitting there on stream watching my man Brendan Plays the other day, and one of y'all recognized me in the chat and said, "Hey, OMG WTF LOLFTW BRB, when's Sunday Night Heat coming out?" So I know y'all been waiting for Sunday Night Heat, and that is just a fact of life. So anyway, before we get started with Sunday Night Heat here, I do have one thing I would like to go over as per usual. And on Nitro, I mentioned, or I brought up to you guys how I wasn't sure if we should change the series or not. I've been getting some input and some opinions from maybe some other YouTubers and some people close to me about my channel and, you know, what I do on it and all that. And that's kind of what's had me kind of second guessing and thinking about, a lot about the channel. And one of the major critiques that I've gotten with my videos is that they're very long. They're a lot longer than most people's videos, and it's because, well, we do put so much detail and we're doing all the goofy voices and all that. So I propose to you guys whether we can either shorten the videos, get rid of the more detailed descriptions and shorten the, get rid of the voices and all that probably, or we can keep them the way they are. And I'm not going to say I was surprised, but in a way, I guess maybe I was touched. A lot of you guys got back to me. A lot of you guys commented down below, and it's always cool to, see that. I guess I kind of have a reach out there, like I could say something and you guys respond. It just doesn't fall on blank ears, I'm not that awkward kid in the school saying like, "Hey, are we gonna take it?" And nobody responds. They're all just quiet because they're like, "Oh God, look at this loser." No, I got some of you guys actually standing up and saying, "No, we're not gonna take it." Horrible analogy, I know, aside, but I just want to thank you guys. I want to say I appreciate you guys, for, I guess, kind of just confirming my thoughts. Because I always thought, if it wasn't broke, don't fix it. And I think someone even said that in the comment section. No one's really ever complained to me about the longevity of the videos. No one's really ever said, "Hey, the voices are kind of cringy. Maybe you should get rid of them." And I've always felt like it, and it seems a lot of you would agree with me, that the main difference with this channel, the thing that sets me apart from a lot of the other YouTubers out there, the TEW community, would be the fact that I do put a lot more detail into the angles, into the stories and all that. It's not just, okay, we're going to have these two feud next, and this is going to be their story. And I'm not trying to call out anybody who makes any Total Extreme Wrestling videos or all that, because that works for some people. It's just me. I've never played TEW that way. Even in my own personal games, I do a lot of storyline elements. Now, granted, I'm not sitting here writing down the entire story when I'm playing personally, but a lot of the matches and the angles that I'm booking, I have a story in my head that I'm booking in it when I'm still playing personally, and I'm sure a lot of you may be that way as well. Hell, I'm sure the other TEW play YouTubers do that, have a story in their head. It's just, I know, you got to put pen to paper. I'm rambling here. I just wanted to say that I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate the feedback. And it's good to know that you guys have enjoyed everything so far, and the longevity of videos and all that doesn't bother you as much as I was starting to think. So just thanks for all the support, and thanks for sticking with me through all the rough times and all this just random stuff that goes on. Anyway, let's stop rambling here. Let's take a quick drink of some water here, because you got to stay hydrated, guys. Let's start off with everybody's favorite show, the first Sunday Night Heat of Season 2. Now, we got a pre-show match. We do have a pre-show match. I think I mentioned this to you guys before, but both these superstars, Lash LaRoe, aka Corporal Cajun, and Evan Courageous, their contracts are up, but they don't want to resign. I guess they're unhappy here in the WWE. So they're going to be moving on. So I'm pretty much just called them up to serve as enhancement talent for a lot of the lesser known talents. Plus, the one problem that I've realized after post draft is we have a lot more heels than we do faces. So that's going to be a problem. But anyway, so yeah, they're just kind of serving as our enhancement talent right now to a lot of the other talents that we're bringing up from developmental, like the Samoan Savages, for instance, Kimu and Umaga. So we have an abysmal pre-show opening match here where the Samoan Savages go over the Afternoon Express in 8 minutes 2 seconds after Umaga defeats Corporal Cajun with the Samoan Drop. A 28 solid E rating here, and the reason why Corporal Cajun lost is because he complained. Evan Courageous had no problem doing the job. Evan Courageous was like, you know what? We're leaving. There's no big deal. Sure, I'll do the job. Corporal Cajun, on the other hand, is like, you think I'm going to lose to the Samoan Savages? For one, Corporal Cajun, I really didn't even want to keep you around in the first place. Sure, Evan Courageous was a guy that I looked at like, he could be a good cruiserweight star. You? What the hell would I have done with you? So yeah, you're damn right you're going to take that L tonight. And the topping, the cherry on top of the ice cream or sundae, whatever you want to call it, Corporal Cajun also has a gimmick that's getting stale. Poor guy. Anyway, Corporal Cajun with an in-ring performance of a 28. Evan Courageous with a 33 in-ring performance. He was obviously the best of everybody in this matchup. The Samoan Savages, the worst of everybody, tying with the in-ring performance of a 24. They'll get over, though. They'll get over. It'll take time, but they'll get over. All right. So here we go with the opening segment of Sunday Night Heat. This is going to be kind of a big episode of Sunday Night Heat, by the way, because things are going to be changing on Sunday Night Heat. So we open up with a 70 C+ rating here as Heat opens up with a video playing from earlier in the night, you know, that whole gimmick, showing Paul Heyman. He's just kind of in the parking lot and patiently waiting for the arrival of Mr. McMahon. He's kind of just pacing back and forth, checking his watch, like, oh, come on, where is he? And finally, the limousine pulls up, and Vince McMahon steps out of the limo. He shakes Paul Heyman's hand, and they begin to speak, and he goes, Paul, thanks for coming out tonight. Well, it's not like he gave me much of a choice, but thanks. Thank you for being on time. Now, why are we here? Well, Paul, I made you a deal. I told you that if you helped me in the war against WCW, that I would give you your own show. Wait, you really mean it? But what about Bischoff? What about him? Why would Eric Bischoff matter? What do you mean? You're the one who appointed him as the Raw general manager, and now you're here saying that I am? What are we supposed to be, co-GMs? I don't think that I can work with that man. Calm down, Paul. You don't have to work with Eric. So you fired him? No, look. When I said you were going to get your own show, I didn't mean Raw. Then what, Mr. McMahon? Wait. Oh, that was horrible. Hold on, let me try that line again. I didn't look at my question mark. That was horribly placed. I'm sorry. Then what, Mr. McMahon? Wait. Are you going to let me bring back ECW? What? Oh, God, no. Listen to me, Paul. You're not Raw's general manager, and ECW is not coming back from the dead. But what you can be, if you want to be, is you can be the general manager of Sunday Night Heat. Heat? What? You don't like that offer either, huh? You know, I swear you're impossible, Paul. But if that's the case, fine. I'll call Mick Foley up and we'll see if he's willing to take the position. No. I'd be happy to take the position, Mr. McMahon. Well, that's great. Yeah, it's great. So, what's the catch? Well, Paul, there's no catch. But there are some things you should know. For one, Heat will operate as a third brand here in the WWE. Heat will not only feature superstars of the future, but along with those talents that neither Raw or Nitro wanted. Oh, that's great. So I get the sloppy seconds then. Also, Heat will serve as a feeder to Raw and Nitro, meaning that if Raw or Nitro is interested in anyone on Sunday Night Heat, then they could offer that superstar a contract. Of course, the same goes to Sunday Night Heat. If there are any superstars that Raw and Nitro doesn't want, then of course you're able to sign them as well. Oh, well, that's a relief, you know. I was starting to wondering I wasn't getting anything here. So not only do I get the bottom of the barrel, but you can also just take any and all the stars I make. That sounds fair. Well, that's great. I'm glad you agree, Paul. So, I wish you the best of luck. And Mr. McMahon extends his hand to Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman grabs McMahon's hand and they shake, but kind of a little bit of an aggressive shake. Like Heyman's just like, not really enthusiastic about it, more like, yeah, this is great. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity, Mr. McMahon. Thank you very, very much. So, I didn't do that promo justice. I won't lie to you. Could have done a better promo there. My Paul Heyman voice isn't as good as it used to be. It could get better, but I gotta practice on it. Anyway, the whole gimmick here is, the deal was that, Heyman was going to get his own show, and it was supposed to be, SmackDown, but now that Nitro's around, Heyman thought he was going to be the Raw general manager, but that went to Eric Bischoff, and now Paul Heyman is getting Sunday Night Heat. And it kind of plays off his time in ECW as well, because, a lot of people say ECW was a feeder show to both Nitro and Raw, with a lot of the talents that Paul Heyman built up, like a Raven, like the Dudley Boys, Taz, so on and so forth. Mike Awesome, they all go off to either Nitro or Raw, Stone Cold Steve Austin. The list goes on. There's a lot of ECW guys, or people who went to ECW and started making a name for themselves before a lot of the bigger companies picked them up. So, like Chris Jericho, I could go on. But anyway, so that's kind of how it goes. But Heyman is going to be now the general manager of Heat. Heat's kind of going to be like NXT, I guess you can say it'll be, where a lot of, like, they said the superstars who didn't get drafted are going to be on here, along with, like, a lot of those developmental stars, like the Samoan Savages, for instance. So, there you go. So this got the crowd hotter, and we move on to a 51 D+ rating here as Heat officially opens. Now we're live. We're no longer earlier today or nothing. It opens with the Right 2 Censor's music going off, so you have that loud-ass siren going off, as you got Steven Richards along with the new Right 2 Censor, although we're not calling them that. It's just the Right 2 Censor. But Charlie and Russ Haas, Steven Richards' kayfabe cousins, standing in the middle of the ring with him. Richards is holding the mic, and he's ready to speak. And Steven Richards has kind of got a distinct voice as well, so I'm going to try to be a little bit more accurate with Stevie here, and I'm going to take another drink, because his is probably going to take a little bit out of me as well. Okay, here we go. So it's no secret. Oh, I fuck up the promo immediately, of course. So the secret's out, and once again, Paul Heyman is my boss. And I'm sure many of you are happy about that, aren't you? Well, you shouldn't be. Paul Heyman ran ECW into its grave. And thank gosh that the WWE is backing him this time, or else we'd never get paid. But that's not the only thing about ECW. I fucked that promo. I'm really bad with the promos today, apparently. But that's not the only thing. I don't know where I was going with this part. I just think I fucked up this line. Golly. How far are we in the recording? Can we restart it? Nah, we're pretty far into this already. Anyway, ECW was also known for hiring some of the worst, untrained, untalented wrestlers out of the world. It's like the King used to say, you guys have to excuse my language because I'm quoting here, but ECW stood for extremely crappy wrestling. In fact, to give you guys a little bit of a preview of what's to come for the future of Sunday Night Heat, I found two of the hottest backyard wrestlers out there. So, Charlie, Russ, make quick work of these garbage men, please. And Richard steps out of the ring, as we get ready for our opening match of the night, which we'll see the... Oh boy, I don't know if I changed these guys. This might be a bad match. I don't know if I changed these guys to lower mid-carders, so they could be openers for all I know. Oh, man. Well, we'll see where it goes. Anyway, as we get ready for our opening match, we'll see Charlie and Russ Haas, the new Right to Censor, take on the random team of some of our developmental talent, Necro Butcher and Nate Hatred. Mostly only chosen because they are known as kind of like hardcore style wrestlers. They're not called up or anything. Don't get exciting for any Necro Butcher or Nate Hatred fans out there. This is just a simple match because I needed somebody to lose because we really don't have a lot of faces. Okay, cool. It doesn't look like we got dinged for the other thing, you know. Oh, because the performances or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, they actually did pretty good considering. 39 D- rating here in an abysmal matchup. The Right to Censor, Russ and Charlie Haas go over Necro Butcher and Nate Hatred in 2 minutes 53 seconds after Charlie defeats Necro Butcher with the submission, the Haas of Pain. So we already know about Russ and Steven apparently, or excuse me, Steven Richards. Makes it sound like they're brothers. So Russ Haas and Steven Richards have great chemistry when Richards is managing Russ. We already know that. Hot crowds against both Necro Butcher and Nate Hatred, telling him not to come back, or telling them not to come back. That's mostly because they really just don't have popularity on their back, I think. But who knows? Maybe they just suck. We'll see later on in the developmental time. Russ with an in-ring performance of a 48. Charlie with a 50, so Charlie's getting good. Nate with a 14, and Necro Butcher with an 8. Weef. Russ Haas is improving in his technical skills, so that's good. And then afterwards, we go to a 53 C- as Steven Richards once again takes the mic after the match, and he goes, "Jeez, you know, that was hard to watch. Boys, are you okay? I'm sorry I put your guys' careers and possibly your lives on the line. But a point had to be made. And that point is that Paul Heyman can't run a show. And Mr. Heyman, and all of you should feel blessed that the Right to Censor and I are here not only to protect you from that filthy television out there, but we're also here to protect you from Paul E. Dangerously." So a 53 C- there. That's a pretty good, I say so to myself. And we got one of our first feuds here. We're going to have a feud a little bit. They're not going to fight or anything, but a little bit of a feud between Steven Richards and Paul Heyman, as you can tell. And that gained some heat. So speaking of Paul Heyman, we go backstage, kind of transitioning backstage, as you can clearly see that Sunday Night Heat is playing on the background of a live TV. So Heyman was listening to pretty much everything Richards had just said there. His desk is just filled with paperwork because the job was just kind of thrust on him, so he's trying to catch up with everything that's pretty much going on in his show right now, or on his show. And meanwhile, you got Billy Gunn, one of the Sunday Night Heat talents, just going on, pretty much just... He's in disbelief right now. He can't believe that he wasn't drafted either Monday Night Raw or Friday Night Nitro. Nitro will be on Fridays now because I found the logo that said Friday Night Nitro on there. So anyway, so you got Paul Heyman. He's just kind of rubbing his head because he's obviously got a headache right now. And like I said, Billy Gunn's going on, so he's just sitting there like, I mean, how could Raw not want the one? How could Nitro not desire Billy Gunn? I mean, you know what I mean, right, Paul? Yes, Billy, you know, we're very happy to have you here on Heat, though. But listen, I've got to get back to... And he's going to say he's got to get back to work, but that's when Chuck Palumbo just comes barging in unexpectedly, doesn't even knock. And he goes, "Paul, this has to be some sort of mistake. This is BS. There's no way that I work here. Someone had to have drafted me." And Billy, I mean, he agrees with Paul. He's like, yeah, or not Paul. He agrees with Palumbo. He's like, you know what? Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. How did no one draft the one Billy Gunn? And Palumbo just kind of gives him like this look like, is this guy serious? And he goes, "No one cares about you, Billy. Your star's faded while I'm on the rise." And Billy Gunn, of course, takes a little bit of offense to that. He goes, "Whoa, now looky here, Palumbo. Maybe you were on the rise, but seeing how your meal ticket Stacy Keibler has ditched you for good, Looks like you're no longer on the rise. You're on the fall. And Palumbo just gives him kind of like this dumb look and goes, "Oh, you say I'm on the fall. I'll show you a fall. You want to show me? Yeah, I'm going to show you." I don't have a good difference of voice between Billy Kidman and Chuck Palumbo here, so you guys are going to have to pay attention to who's talking on the gimmick here. "Yeah, I'm going to show you." Oh, we got to pull up the handy-dandy notepad anyway now, so whatever. We got gimmicked ourselves. Anyway, and then Gunn responds by saying, "Well, why don't you show me in the ring tonight, then?" Palumbo responds, "You want me to take you out? Well, it's a date, then. You're damn right it's a date." And that's when Billy Gunn and Chuck Palumbo get in each other's face, and they just both kind of storm off at the same time because they just pissed each other off, and now they're going to fight each other. Although, a little bit of I don't want to say sexual tension, but maybe a little bit of a joke there. I mean, as we all know, Billy and Chuck were known as the gay team. They had Rico as their manager in real life, so that's kind of like the thing where it can kind of be taken out of context pretty much. Like, yeah, we know that they're kind of mad and they want to fight, but it's like, "Oh, you're going to take me out? Well, you know what? It's a date then, huh?" And it's like, kind of like that old Drake and Josh segment with Mindy and Josh, where it's all like, "Well, maybe I just like you. Well, maybe I like you too. Well, maybe we should be boyfriend and girlfriend. Well, they only on one condition. What's that? I'm the boyfriend." That's kind of the whole thing we're going with here. They're arguing, and I don't know if I'm going to eventually lead to the whole Billy and Chuck tag team, but we can joke about it. I've thrown a little bit of jokes here and there, so I just don't want you guys to get excited. If I don't know if we're going to make them a team, pretty much. Anyway, that's going to be our main event of the night as it's confirmed. Oh, we're changing characters. So he was a bodyguard before because he was kind of portrayed as, Stacy Keibler's bodyguard, but now he's going to be moving on to a biker gimmick. So let's see how it goes. And he got a very good rating on his biker gimmick. Hell yeah. I mean, we all remember when Chuck Palumbo was a biker for a little while. We're not working on Billy Gunn, though. We're still going to be teasing that heel turn. Although now it's kind of like, do we want to tease a heel turn? We don't have a lot of faces, so I don't know if I'm going to go back on that, but that was kind of my plan, Billy Gunn being one of our top heels. We move on to our next match of the night, or not yet, but we're going to. 45 solid D rating for the next angle, I should say, as we're back from our commercial break. Scotty 2 Hottie's music is playing. Turn it up. Banging it, banging it, banging it, banging it. And he's out there. He's already in the ring. He's dancing for the crowd. He's having a good time until he's interrupted by the music of the debuting primetime Monty Brown, the former NFL linebacker for the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. And no, I did not have to look that up. Maybe I did. We're going to be calling him Primetime Monty Brown. I know he was known in the past as the Alpha Male in TNA, and I know we kind of just debuted Elix Skipper on Nitro, and he's known as Primetime Elix Skipper. No more. I like Primetime for Monty Brown. I think it makes more sense for Monty with the gimmick we're going with, and he's kind of just like this over-the-top, cocky character. Because, he's a celebrity. He's a former NFL superstar, or I guess maybe not superstar, but he was in the NFL, so it's kind of looked at it. He's above everybody, so I don't know. I just think primetime, everyone's like, I'm primetime TV, I'm NFL, I was in the Super Bowl, things like that. I'll probably just move on to call Elix Skipper Showtime, something like that. Like he's Percy Watson now or something. But anyway, out comes Monty Brown, who interrupts Scotty 2 Hottie, and he goes, "What the hell is this crap? You out here doing dance moves from the 80s. Boy, don't you know that you're on primetime? And when you're on primetime, you're on my time. And I don't like my time wasted. My name is Monty Brown, and I figured you want to know that. And I figured you want to know it now, Scotty, because after you get hit with the pounce, you ain't gonna remember a damn thing." So Monty Brown makes his debut by interrupting Scotty and pretty much just lets him know, hey, I'm gonna make quick work of you. So we get ready for that matchup. And it gets a 43 solid D rating here. Oh, come on, Monty. Monty really off his game here tonight. I guess maybe it's his debut, his first win. Maybe that's why. But anyway, and about that didn't have much Wayne Heat and terrible wrestling, apparently. Primetime Monty Brown goes over Scotty 2 Hottie in 5 minutes, 58 seconds. Of course, with the pounce. We already know Monty was really off his game, which is a shame. Color commentary helps the match out a bit here, though. Did cool the crowd. Scotty with an in-ring performance of a 47, only 1 point better than primetime Monty Brown. Makes me wonder what his game or what his score would have been if he wasn't really off his game. So he probably would have been better than Scotty. Let's look at the dirt sheet. Anything really help or mess up? Well, the locker room. You guys got to remember, we have that 0 rating for locker room. Apparently bad booking decisions, too. Either way, though, Monty Brown starts it off with a win. And next segment, just a freestyle segment. Not much stuff I can write. I can just explain it to you. 51D plus, Scotty's down there. He's selling whatever. Monty Brown looking to make a name for himself. Maybe standing off in the background, going to do like another pounce on Scotty 2 Hottie or whatnot when Rikishi, Scotty's friend, rushes down to the ring. Him and Monty Brown kind of get in each other's face, and Monty eventually backs down, gets out of the ring while Rikishi checks on his fallen foe. So, primetime Monty Brown's first feud, of course, will be against Rikishi. That's what we're going for here. And we then go to a 42 solid D rating here, as we're just, oh god, he probably shouldn't have been on screen, but that's fine. Anyway, it's just kind of a video package, one of those. Here's a look at some of the superstars coming to Sunday Night Heat in the future, and it's just kind of hyping up Batista, a little video package for him. He currently has the Animal gimmick, which I guess makes sense. I mean, he is the Animal Batista, as we all know him as. But Goldberg's also running the Animal gimmick, and it warned me that he may be compared to Goldberg, or, it said others who currently use this gimmick, which is Goldberg. And I don't want to start Batista off with comparisons to Goldberg, so I'm thinking just a badass gimmick. It's pretty much the same thing. And yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. He gets an above average. I think, yeah, he was above average for his Animal, so nothing changes for Batista here. But we're just hyping him up, getting ready to eventually debut him. So there you have that. 42 solid D. That's not too bad for Batista. We then go to our main event of the night with a 53 C- rating here. And about that had a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling to it. The one, Billy Gunn, goes over Chuck Palumbo in 13 minutes, 16 seconds after Chuck Palumbo was distracted by Sean O'Haire, the returning Sean O'Haire. Billy Gunn gets a flash pinfall out of nowhere. Chuck Palumbo maybe setting up to finish off Billy Gunn, maybe waiting for him to get up as he can hit in that like torture rack submission hold that he has. And that's when the music of Sean O'Haire maybe plays, or maybe Sean O'Haire is seen in the audience, and he kind of stands up, and Chuck Palumbo is just kind of distracted for a brief moment. He talks some smack to Sean O'Haire, his former tag team partner. They wore the Natural Born Killers, or excuse me, not Killers, Natural Born Thrillers. And Billy Gunn rolls him up for the 1-2-3. He gets out of the ring, and Chuck Palumbo is shocked. He's maybe talking some crap to the referee, maybe talking crap to Billy Gunn. But nonetheless, Billy Gunn gets the victory here tonight. And Sean O'Haire also debuting a new gimmick, the Raging Bull gimmick, which I don't really know how to describe it. It fit his. I think he was rated. He's good. I think he's rated good on Brute. I think that's what it was. And one of the few Brute face gimmicks that Sean O'Haire could use was Raging Bull, and it kind of fits it. The way I look at it is like he's kind of got like inner hatred for his former best friend, his former tag team partner in Chuck Palumbo. So he's got a little bit of rage, kind of like that really cheesy Alex Riley rage gimmick back in the day. So maybe not the best gimmick to compare him to, but nonetheless, Sean O'Haire is back on the main roster. It got an average rating for his gimmick. Billy Gunn had an in-ring performance of a 47. Chuck Palumbo with a 69, so that was a good one. They kind of met in the middle here, it looked like. Curious about the dirt sheet here. Booking decisions again, that's fine. And the final storyline for Sunday Night Heat of Sean O'Haire and Chuck Palumbo has started as well. What do we have here for changes? Oh, just Billy Gunn, that's right. We move on to the next segment here, and we end off the night with another freestyle segment because I didn't feel like explaining it. A 58 C- rating here as Sean O'Haire takes advantage of the, once again, distraction of Chuck Palumbo, who is now furious about losing, maybe arguing with the referee, like I said, or maybe just screaming at Billy Gunn as he leaves the ring. Palumbo takes this time to either rush down the rampway or jump over the crowd. I'm not really sure what it is. Either way, he gets into the ring, he takes down Chuck Palumbo, and he is beating the hell out of Chuck Palumbo until finally Chucky P gets out of the ring and he flees the ring while Sean O'Haire just kind of stands there pretty much begging him to get back in the ring. Come on, fight me, you know, all that stuff. So Chuck Palumbo getting better at his gimmick, and the heat between, or the feud between Sean O'Haire and Chuck Palumbo has gained some heat as well. So good stuff all around. We end off the show. We get ourselves a 56C minus. Apparently not enough attractive women. So apparently we need attractive women on Heat as well. Well, it's a good thing Heat doesn't lose us popularity. Fine by me. Anyway, there you have that. Not too bad of a Heat. I'd like to hear your guys' opinions on the future of Sunday Night Heat. How it's probably going to be NXT before it was NXT. And yeah, should be interesting. We're going to be testing a lot of the developmental stars on here, and pretty much those who are ready to be called up will go to Sunday Night Heat first, unless I have a direct idea for them on the main roster. As there are some superstars who have been called up who are on the main roster already. And we will see that as we move forward as well. So I'm not going to wait for this. Actually, you know what? I should wait for this because we probably had a couple of shows. And I'm going to have to remind myself to kind of have to watch. Oh, look at this. China has gone to a company now. She goes to BCW. I don't know what BCW is. I want to say that maybe that is a Japanese company? No, BCW is in Canada. Okay. Interesting. Well, China works there now. Good for her. But yeah. Apparently ECCW is going to submit. That's a shame. But like I was saying, Heat's going to be kind of that company. I don't know where I was going. China thing really caught me off. I was talking about something. I know a lot of the developmental stars, I was saying, you know, are going to be called up to Sunday Night Heat and kind of, you know, get their debut there. Why are you mad? Oh, the toxic Backstage. Oh, and so is Batista and all of them. So that's fine. Oh boy, hopefully this isn't someone asking for their release. Okay, we're bringing in Tajiri, by the way. I think it's a developmental deal. Oh no, we're bringing him in now. Maybe I was going to bring him in as a cruiserweight. Not entirely sure. But anyway, that's going to be the end of the video. Oh, I remember what we were doing now. We were going to check the child companies real quick and see if they've had any shows, which I'm sure they've had. So I guess we can't check that way. So let's do it this way then. Let's go and we'll do HWA first and go from there. So show history. Where would it be? Just history in general. So they had a show the first week of April, Wednesday, as they all usually do, because most of them are set up on Wednesdays. Some of these guys are now on our roster as well. So Cody Hawk beat Akumu Fat 2, who is Umaga. Thanks, Cody Hawk, for bringing down my guy. Yang and Mike Sanders had a brawl. Mike Sanders was called up, so he's no longer on Heartland Wrestling Association. The Ace Squad, the Jabolskis, go over Future Shock, BJ Whitmer, who is under contract with us, and Logan Kane, who I don't believe is. We have a skit involving Kimona Wanalala, Evan Courageous, and Terry Funk. Yang went on to retain the HWA Cruiserweight Championship over Rory Fox, two of our developmental superstars. And finally, in the main event, Mike Sanders and Nova go over Corporal Cajun and D'Lo Brown. So Mike Sanders getting a win before he gets called up. That's good for him. We then move on to Ohio Valley Wrestling. No, new NWA is next. It's above it. So NWA, their last show was history. There it is. Yes. Their last show, they had Frankie Kazarian go over Scotty Wren in a 39D- rating. Frankie is one of our developmental stars, I believe. Adam Jacobs defeated Jason Cross to retain the NWA Georgia Junior Heavyweight Championship. 55C- for them. The Road Dogg defeats David Flair with a 42 solid D. And in our main event, Ernest the Cat Miller defeats Sean O'Hare in his final NWA match with a solid 60 rating to retain the NWA Wildside Heavyweight title. And then finally we go to Ohio Valley Wrestling. And Ohio Valley Wrestling, their last show, what was this? Oh, shoot. They had a show on Tuesday as well. So they had 2 shows. Okay, so they had a Tuesday show, End of an Era 2002. It was their pay-per-view event. They opened up with Taylor Mathney defeating Nikita. So Taylor Mathney defeats Nikita to retain the OVW Women's Championship with a 35 E+. Then with a 29 solid E, Trailer Park Trash defeats Maven to retain the OVW Hardcore Championship. 52 D+ rating as the Lords of the Ring, Rob Conway and Nick Dinsmore defeated the team of Fit Finlay and John Cena. And in our main event, Bull Buchanan retains the OVW Heavyweight Championship against Mark Henry. And Mark Henry's, what could have been Mark Henry's final match. 51 D+. Mark Henry's been called up, by the way. And then their television program, OVW Wrestling. Oh no, here's Mark Henry's final match. 43 solid D rating, defeats Red Dog in the opening bout. And it was also Red Dog's last match, as he's been called up now. We then move on to Trailer Park Trash defeating Ron Waterman to retain his OVW Hardcore Championship in a 37 D-. Ron Waterman's last match as well, as he has been called up. 27 solid E rating as Maven defeats Jorge Estrada, one of our newest superstars, to retain the OVW Light Heavyweight Championship. We then move on to a 59 solid C rating here, as we have a backstage segment between Rob Conway and Nikita. Then a 45 solid D rating as BJ Payne and Flash Flanagan defeated the team of John Cena and Ricky Banderas by disqualification. Banderas probably getting them disqualified somehow. We then go to a 57 C- rating as Nick Dinsmore went to a double DQ with Fit Finlay. How the hell do you go to a double